Welcome to Nebraska Prep's Postgame with Damon Benning and Jacob Padilla.
Love that music. That means it is another week of NEB Preps, and I get my guy. I don't even have to share him this week, just Jacob Padilla and myself. Looking forward to it, man. A lot to catch up on. Not as eventful as I thought it may be going into this one. Things are really kind of starting to
getting into district play and some lopsided matchups. There were a few that were really interesting.
Reveal themselves a little bit, man. How was the week, man?
Pretty good. Staying busy, bouncing around.
You got Creighton basketball starting with practice. You've got volleyball that you're covering, both high school and at the collegiate level. No rest for the weary.
Fall league basketball on Saturday morning just to scratch that itch a little bit. So, yeah, just
Wait a minute. Are you playing or coaching?
watching out at the fall league. So,
okay.
I skipped the Saturday morning pickup this week. But, there's a lot going on. We're busy time of year. We're hard to believe it, but we just passed the halfway mark of the season.
Yeah, coaches always say you blink and it's gone. And it literally is. We blinked and we're already halfway through.
Yeah, and I was just looking ahead, like trying to plan out schedules and all this, and thinking like, all right, who haven't I seen? Who do I need to see? Still, geez, fly, go away.
Shoot.
And I started realizing, I'm not going to be able to see a lot of these teams just because of volleyball the next few Fridays, and the Thursday schedule gets a little lighter. So.
Yep. You want to get right into it?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's start with number one, impressive again, and that would be Millard South.
Yep, 56-12 against Lincoln Southeast. We talked about it. Like at some point, the Marion Jackson game was going to come because he's too talented not to, and it finally was here. 6 catches, 140 yards, and 3 touchdowns.
It almost is like, so you'll look at the stats after, 5 weeks, and right, you get ready to go to week 6. You'll see the catches start to ramp up a little bit, and then the number of touchdowns, and you're like, oh, he's been consistent. But really, it's been the last 2 weeks where he's steadily building. And here's the scary thing for opponents. A fresh Marion Jackson later on in the season as playoffs loom is bad news for a lot of teams. And you're having a chance to keep him fresh.
Yeah, and they continue to incorporate Amir Hill in different ways. So, again, I just don't know how you defend all the guys on this team.
That's their depth. Yeah. I talked to a couple of coaches this week on the way down to Lincoln before we got on the plane, and so far teams that have seen them, they just come at you in waves.
Yeah, and Pruka had another 3 touchdowns, 100 yards from scrimmage. Joe Tamala did what he does, 75% completion rate, pretty good. 240 yards, 4 scores.
Was he feeling okay? He didn't throw for 300.
Didn't really have to, I guess. Already up 56-12. So, Millard South rolls on. They have good one this week. That's one of the few top 10 matchups in A. Actually, the only one between 2 top 10 teams in our latest poll is Millard South against Papillion-LaVista.
Yep,
on Friday.
Yep, and we'll get to Papio here shortly as they continue their ascent up the rankings. We go to number 2 Westside, who traveled to Central as Central falls out of the ratings, but did receive votes, I believe, in Mike Sauter's coaches poll. They couldn't really get it going, just couldn't get the ground game going, and Keenan Cotton is continuing to have an incredible year, and in my opinion, his touches to touchdowns and the way that
yards
he's doing it, he has been nothing short of incredible.
Yeah, 48-14 was the final there. You mentioned Keenan Cotton, 5 catches, 115 yards and a touchdown, and a 90-yard kickoff return touchdown.
Yeah, another one. He is he's really kind of coming into his own, and that whole wide receiving core is now starting to get touches as the passing game is simplified a little bit, and now we're just playing catch.
Yeah, and Eli Johnson had another touchdown. Quentin Warden ran one in.
He's a monster. He's going to be good.
Braylon Moore in another kind of balance game where he had 41 yards on the ground, 2 his 150 passing. Had a couple of touchdowns there, and then another big game for Tay Jenkins. 21 carries, 169 yards, 2 touchdowns, plus a 20-yard reception.
Yeah, he's so good, and he's powerful for a guy that's not that big. He runs hard for a guy that's about 160 pounds, man. He's awful strong.
Yep. 11 tackles for Christian Jones. Speaking of strong there. Fourth fumble.
Starting to really settle into the inside linebacking well, it's new for him. It's only his third game playing it in his career, and he's starting to come around.
Yeah. Must be nice just to have a 4-star guy that you can move around. Like, let's try this here. Let's see.
Well, we just trying to play to our strengths, man. But he's really starting to come on. He's getting more comfortable. We gave up the big play on the post, but defensively the secondary starting to settle in too. Central's explosive. Like, I felt pretty good about keeping a pretty explosive offense in check.
Really bottled up Haney in that ground game.
That was the key. And
that's what we saw you guys do against North, too.
Yeah.
The first week, Jaron Cannon, who we'll talk about in a few moments here, completely bottled him up in the run game. Now Haney, another really talented back, just got nothing, gave him nothing. So that's your guys' key. Like, if you have to try to be one-dimensional against you guys with the athletes you got on the back end, too, good luck.
That's the hope, right? We haven't given up a 100-yard rusher. I think since Tilford and North Platte, which was a handful 3 years ago, I think. So we've been able to kind of dial in and keep guys from getting busy on the ground, and we're doing it with an odd front too. So it gives us an advantage because we can then play games in the back end. But there's a couple of these teams that we're going to see, and 2 of them are 3 and 4. They're going to test that too because both these teams can run the football as we start with Elkhorn South.
70-0 and 10 touchdowns from 10 different players.
Yeah, that's a Coach Rosenberg thing, right? You know the game's getting out of hand. He's a consummate diplomat. He respects the game. That is Coach Rosenberg.
Yeah, light day for Shanahan. Only 6 carries. Keep him fresh. Madden Riggs, 8 completions, 4 touchdowns. Pretty good ratio.
Like
there.
That ratio?
Yeah. So Elkhorn South. Westside. You got Fremont on Friday, and this week Elkhorn South is on Thursday against Burke.
Yeah.
And then at 4, coming in, you mentioned the Monarchs there, Papillion-LaVista, who won a big one against Prep.
Gutty win. We talked about that. Had a lot of our focal point last NEB Preps, kind of previewing this deal, and it kind of played out this way. We thought 10 would win it, but the higher scoring it got, the more advantage it would be for Papio. Turns out Papio South could have scored 4 and been just okay.
Yeah, and you could kind of see the game playing out that way. Like, at some point, Prep was going to have to be able to move the ball or their defense is going to run down. Whereas Papillion-LaVista wasn't necessarily scoring, but they were moving the ball a little bit easier than Prep was, and eventually I think it was going to break through. And pick 6 is one that kind of
that was a great play.
There.
Kept his balance.
Yeah.
Really good break.
Yeah. 3rd and short, trying to just throw out to the Trey Richardson.
Yeah, Richardson.
Yeah. 57-yard catch and ran it back up the sideline there to get, because it was 3-0 Prep at halftime. So, Prep's defense, they're tough. Like,
they are.
You don't get anything
yards
easy
were
against
hard
them.
to come by, and Richardson gets the pick 6. He steps in front of the out route, and then the next series they had him bottled up, but Permaran, they take the shot play on the post, and he gets them for almost 70.
Yeah, it was 70, just right on the dot. First play of the drive, dial it up, throw it over the top. Great throw from Cam Leggett, and caught it and beat everybody to the end zone. And then on the next drive, Prep's getting down into Papio territory, and Permaran goes up and picks off a pass and runs that back 75 yards. Almost broke it free, but one guy was able to finally track him down at the end.
Everybody was like, "Oh, he got caught." I'm like, "Well, he just had ran 70 a couple of minutes earlier. He's going to go." They put a drive together. Now he's going to go for 75 again, and it was an ankle tackle because he ran out of the first one, and it's like, wow, he's going to house this thing. Yeah. He's going to rack up about 180 yards of touchdowns in 2 minutes.
Yeah, but back-to-back 70-yard touches there, and that set up a short run from Antonio Di Giacomo. And that was Papio. Leggett's solid quarterback. He made some really nice throws. Cale Johnson's a big target. They run some nice stuff.
Good player.
Him just intermediate catches, just throw over the top, run his route, throw it to him, and he's going to go up and get it. Also laid some big hits on defense. I know you can check out Sauter's Twitter account for one of those that he put out there, where, man, he is we know that Tony Caniglia is a tough guy, and he was
shot,
he was running for it.
I saw that real time. I was just hoping he got up.
Yeah, he nearly knocked him clear off the camera screen, like looking at Sauter's video. So he's a really nice weapon for them on both ends. And then they had 3 different guys in the backfield. They were kind of spreading out the touches between the 3 of them, and all of them did something different and had some moments there with D.G. Akimo, Brody Parr, and Michael Valencia Jr., just a freshman there. So,
they're pretty high on.
Yeah.
It sounds like they got a lot in the stable coming up in the young ranks.
So, Papio really – and then we know their line. They've got some big dudes up front there. Garen Maley, Blake Major, both those guys made an impact in the game. So they held up Prep under 200 yards and forced 2 turnovers there. So, Papio is a really well-balanced team. They've got the pieces. I think they're very strong, number 4 at this point with what they've proven. That was kind of the question. Like the schedule hadn't been incredibly tough to start the year, and that was a really impressive performance against Prep. And now they're going to have their best this week coming up. Yeah,
and we'll go to number 5 with Millard North. And we'll talk to Coach Burrell later on this week, but kind of likes the trajectory of his team. He's made some just a few minor tweaks to the staff, and kind of feels like they're settling in now defensively, which is going to give them a chance because I think offensively they show some flashes of being explosive.
Well, 63 points I think counts as explosive there. 63-6 against Bryan, and now they go down to Lincoln East, who took a tough loss, but that's still you got travel down there and play away from home. We've seen them a lot at Buell so far this season. So, Millard North kind of moving along there. They're at 5 and at moving up 1 spot. Interesting results there. I'm not curious what the coaches saw there to flip Millard North
Kearney?
and Kearney. Yeah.
Because Kearney's still sitting at 4-1 with a good win.
Yeah, 27-12 against Lincoln East.
That was a good win.
Yeah, and another big game from Griffin Novacek, 168 yards passing and a touchdown, and 153 yards on the ground and another score there. Caden Johnson had an 80-yard touchdown reception there, so that was that passing touchdown. So if you can pound him underneath and then hit him over the top with something like that, like that's pretty nice to have. And then Sawyer Schilke, 12 tackles on defense, including 1 for loss, and had a 1-yard rushing touchdown. We know what kind of an impact player he is there. So, good win for Kearney. 4-5 or 5-6 there. Omaha North at 7. Kind of, I think you see all those teams kind of in that same.
And they're right there, right? Kearney with the 13-6 win, and I get it. They were up 2 scores, and North scored, but I kind of on any given night for that bunch right there.
Yeah, 100%. And mentioned North 47-3 against Lincoln Northeast. Mikey Gowan 9-10 for 160 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Pretty
also had a rushing touchdown. Talk about efficient. Jaron Cannon 13 carries, 143 yards and 2 touchdowns. So far this season, he's got 100 carries for 640 yards and 5 touchdowns with 300-yard games. So, which, again, we talked about Westside's run defense earlier, makes that all the more impressive what you guys did to them in the opener.
He's a really good back, too. Yep. Really good back.
Darian Jones continues his fantastic season. Had a receiving touchdown, a punt return touchdown, a pick on defense.
It's kind of what he's been doing, right? He finds a way to get you game. Multiple ways.
Yeah, just a great athlete. So, again, we said 5, 6, 7. Any week those guys could end up in any order, and I wouldn't have a problem with it. And then Bellevue West there at 8. Bellevue West at 8 after a 62-0 win against Buena Vista, and then they go
big lopsided scores.
Yeah, they go to South Sioux City coming up here this week. Prep after the loss drops down to 9. It was 22-3 was the final of that Papio game, and now they got a tough one. They're having their homecoming at Omaha Central on Friday because it's unfortunate not having your own home stadium, especially when your borrowed home stadium is also not available.
So, and the weird thing about them is it's a good football team. The schedule on the back end with our district, with Westside and Papio and
that
Central,
game's coming up with you guys.
It's a tough district.
100%. There's no easy days in that
made
one.
that Papio one really, really
that was a
important
huge win for them.
For for Papio to get, because there's just no gimmies here in the district.
No, those are, 4 teams in that same district that have all been in our top 10?
Top 10, yeah.
That's pretty good. And then Millard West is rounding things out there at 10. Getting after Schneid, got their first win, 42-14 at Grand Island, and they got Bellevue East this week. So we talked about the schedule lightening up for them. Now it's up to them to kind of take care of business and win out the rest of the way to kind of get back after a really rough start to the season with their schedule.
Yeah, let's jump over to Class B, and the gauntlet continues. With no losses in your top 4 teams, with a combined record of 20-0.
Yep.
Not too shabby.
Yeah, kind of a wild game for number 1 Bennington against Gretna, who's in the receiving votes now after a couple of tough losses there.
It's a good offense to kind of have to handle.
Yeah, and 56-35 was the final. Which doesn't quite tell the story. It was 49-14 after 3, which, I mean, heck, 14 touchdowns in 3 quarters is more than Bennington used to giving up.
Yeah.
But then in the fourth quarter, Gretna scored 21 points. I think recovered a couple of onside kicks, and Trey Knudsen just kept firing.
Made it interesting.
Or, and Michael Knudsen.
Yeah, they weren't going anywhere. And I think the thing about that is Bennington, in a weird way, they needed a little bit of that, right? Situationally, having to respond, because it has been pretty much rainbows and butterflies, especially for them defensively.
No doubt. And so, I mean, Knudsen, 5 passing touchdowns. Lakers and Bolts both had a couple each, were his favorite targets there. And so, I mean, despite the struggles, we know Gretna's still explosive. Like, they're going to be dangerous against anybody they play. But Bennington is number 1 for a reason, and again, now putting up 56 to go with what we've seen they're capable of defense. Houston Hill really seems to be settling in there at quarterback.
Every week they get better on offense.
16-24 for 227 yards, so more efficient than he has been completion-wise. 3 touchdowns, also 4 carries for 62 yards and a touchdown. He had 104 yards and 2 touchdowns from Goods on the ground. And then Jace Fitzgerald had 5 catches for 113 yards and a touchdown. They also scored on a hook and lateral to a lineman, Charlie Swoboda. Shout out that guy getting in the end zone.
Incredible.
And then Kyler Lordson had a 49-yard kickoff return touchdown. And Lane Bover had a 30-yard fumble recovery touchdown.
Good player right there. I think he kind of flies under the radar. There's a lot of studs for them defensively. Well,
Jack Jansen forcing the fumble on that play. There's another one.
That's a good player.
Yeah, 3 names right there off the top that we talked about before. So, Gretna, they got their tough season continues, but they got a chance on Friday to get back on track there, going to Plattsmouth, sitting at 2-3 now, and they're in the receiving votes category still, earning some respect for what they did against Bennington. And at number 2 is Skutt, 35-7 against Elkhorn. And we know Elkhorn's they don't have the wins that they'd like to have at this point, but in Class B, some of that is the result of the schedule.
That schedule.
Yeah. So it's a good win for Skutt. And Dylan Van Dyke, 16-22 for a school record, 358 yards and 3 touchdowns, all to Joe Kaliga, I believe, including 80-yarder and a 45-yarder. He also had an interception on defense. So those two have had fantastic seasons, and they just continue it week in and week out.
I wonder how Matt feels about Seth watching this offense. For a guy that loves veer and counter and trap, to watch his brother just go air raid. But it just shows that they're able to play to their talent.
I was going to say, that's the mark of a good coach, is not being stubborn to your system, is adjusting the talent you have and doing whatever it takes to put your team in position to win. And Skutt, that staff has certainly done that this season. And we got that Skutt Bennington coming up here. That's going to be coming up soon. So that'll be exciting. But Seward still there at 3, 41-6 against Lincoln Northwest. Tresson Haas, 14-17 for 243 yards and 4 touchdowns. They got Edison Knott had the big game last week. They got a chance to get somebody else some touches. Peyton Elise went over 100 yards on just 7 carries and a score. And Jack Vinilek had 4 catches, 116 yards, and 2 touchdowns there for the Blue Jays.
So their schedule is interesting because they've got Northwest, then Blair. They finish up with York and Crete. Oh, they got a chance. I don't know what their wild card points will end up being because we have to kind of wait and see how that plays out. But they could be an undefeated, really, really good, dominant 3 perhaps with how some of the schedules could shake out with Skutt and Bennington. You don't see a lot of undefeated potential 3 seeds.
Not really. But that's credit to Seward and kind of what they've built. Took some lumps over the last couple of years, but they've got guys that have started for a while now. Haas has been a guy for them for a while and is now having a fantastic season. Again, just a junior too. Yeah. He's got another year. So, Seward will continue to be tough. They go to Grand Island Northwest on Friday. And then the final one of that top 4 still undefeated is Elkhorn North with a 21-7 win against Blair, who we talked about their schedule last week. Blair's got Bennington this week, and now coming off of the loss to Elkhorn North there. And credit to Blair, the first team to really bottle up Ethan Beachy. Really quiet day for him.
And good enough to still receive votes, too. Blair's, we talked about it. It's a bear. Yeah.
It
is an absolute nightmare.
Yep.
And not going to get any easier.
Yeah. But that's the nice thing about Elkhorn North is, Beachy's been having a monster season. You kind of limit him. And then Jet Tingleoff goes off. 27 carries for 151 yards and 3 touchdowns. So pass game wasn't there in that game. So feed your workhorse, and he's gotten some lighter days because of how balanced they've been or how effective they've been in the pass game. You haven't had to load him up with a ton of carries, but we know he's capable of carrying the load, as we saw in this game. Also had 5 tackles and a pass breakup on defense. They had 4 guys with double-digit tackles in that game. Nathan Caderna led the way, 12 tackles and a pick. So that defense, they got a lot of playmakers on that defense.
I'm pretty excited. Obviously, getting a chance to do that state farm. I'm pretty excited to see what shakes out because it appears to be pretty top-heavy, and it's good at the top.
Yep. Scottsbluff took care of business at Lexington, 56-7. Waverly did not get a play because of illness in the Standing Bear program. Just didn't have enough healthy kids to play a game, unfortunately. Second football game I've seen this season canceled.
Right.
We had the whooping cough in the Portland State game, whatever it was.
South Dakota State?
Yep, South Dakota, I think.
Or South Dakota?
Yeah, one of those schools. So Waverly will get back on the field against Beatrice this week. And this was a big one in Class B. Sautter was down there for his game of the week. Norris sitting at there at number 7. 24-14 win against Lincoln Pius the 10th there, who was number 8 last week.
Be healthier. I won't go as far as to say healthy, but healthier.
Got the quarterback back, and he made a difference. Volkmer had a passing touchdown and a rushing touchdown in the game, but wasn't enough to keep up with Norris, who Evan Greenfield. Monster day for him. Just a sophomore, we know what kind of a football player or a basketball player he is.
Yeah.
He's their kicker. And also a receiver. He had about a 30-yard field goal for them to kind of get the scoring started. Then he had a 40-yard touchdown reception. And then he also had an 87-yard touchdown reception. Tossing in a short touchdown for Chris Garner Jr. as well. And Norris, looking strong there at number 7. It's a big win for them. And they've
had a tough
schedule.
They've had a tough schedule too early.
Yeah. So,
it's a little easier this week, but we'll see if they can get that game in.
It's in there at 3-2 so far. Pius dropped down to 9, so still hanging in there at 2-3. But again, they got Volkmer back, and they face Skutt on Friday. That'll be good. There are a few games that I'm trying to decide between on Friday when we get back with volleyball on Thursday this week, and that's certainly one of them there with Skutt and Pius because I haven't seen Skutt yet. So we'll see kind of where I end up this weekend, but that's the biggest game in Class B this week. Again, not a lot of ranked-on-ranked matchups this week in A or B.
still and cracking the top 10, but used to having some success is York that comes in at 4-1.
Yep. 31-0 win against Creighton, and they go to Lincoln Northwest Friday, so another chance to kind of keep this thing rolling. So, yeah, that's just breaking in. Gretna and Blair there both receiving votes, so kind of the same teams there in B. There were a couple of games that we need to mention in C1 and C2. I think we said it before, but Wahoo, they're up here. We talked about DC West, kind of who is having a good season there, has been in the top 10 in the receiving votes category. So 50-0 win for Wahoo in that one.
It's good. It's a pretty complete football team.
Yeah, no doubt. It's really hard to score against them. They got so many guys back on defense, and then Kip Brigham just continues to have a monster season.
Yeah, just his efficiency in terms of finding the end zone with the amount of times he touches the ball has been astonishing.
Yeah, so I mentioned Skutt. Pius is an option for me. Another one here is the big game in C1 is number 3 Ashland Greenwood at number 6 Boys Town. And I'll mention Boys Town here when we get to the very end of the show because there's a certain player that I need to give a shout out to. But that has a chance to be a really fun game.
I would like to go see that.
Yeah, they got some athletes on both sides of that game. Ashland Greenwood was able to run the ball a little bit better this past week after just really airing it out in the big win against Auburn previously.
Yeah, when Spears was just running wide open.
Yep. So that's a big one in C1 and in C2. Battle Creek held on 45-38 win over sitting there at number 2 over number 4 Oakland Craig, and some massive performances on both sides. It was 38-24 Battle Creek early in the fourth quarter. They scored to go up 2 touchdowns and then just kind of traded scores there. And Battle Creek was able to hold on for that one.
Anderson does a little bit of everything for Oakland Craig, doesn't he?
25 carries for 25 of 34 for 381 yards and 5 touchdowns, and also had a rushing touchdown for them in the loss. He had a couple of receivers both go over 100 yards. Corbin Guil had 6 catches for 144 yards and a touchdown, and Jeremiah Druckenmiller had 9 catches for 110 yards and 2 touchdowns in the loss there for Oakland Craig. But Battle Creek, Jackson Metler, 6 of 10 for 94 yards and a touchdown passing. 14 carries for 180 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Strong offensive line.
And then Aiden Pojap went over 100 as well. 12 carries for 145 yards and 2 touchdowns. Also 4 catches for 68 yards. So whole lot of offense in that one. And now we got in C2 big games coming up this week. Battle Creek has another tough one. Hartington Cedar Catholic, who comes in at number 6.
4-1.
Yeah. And then Bishop Newman also goes to number 7 Malcolm. That was another one that I'm considering for Friday. There, Bishop Newman at number 3 after
Give
another.
me a good gauge of what we saw between Oakland Craig and Malcolm a couple weeks ago.
100%.
Right? Just to see what fits in the middle.
Yeah. Another 200-yard rushing game for Connor Booth last week. Speaking of big games there, let's end with some shout-outs here.
Yeah, let's do the shout-outs. What do we like?
We got to start with Quinn Bailey, of course, Shadron Sr. Another 300-yard game, ho-hum. 31 carries, 301, 5 touchdowns, converted 2 two-point tries. Also had 10 tackles on defense in a 34-14 win at Ogallala, and that's a good win for them. Wood River senior Bo Rorick also went over 300 yards on 29 carries, 329 yards and 5 touchdowns. Also had a 23-yard reception, 3 tackles and 2 passes.
And they had cracked the top 10 last week too. So, that program, it's good to see a little bit of a resurgence.
Yeah, 37-20 win against Hastings St. Cecilia. So, pair of 300-yard, 5 touchdown games for some kids there out the top here. Minden senior Orrin Kuhn, 29 carries for 242 yards and 3 touchdowns on the ground. Also had a 30-yard kickoff return, had 11 tackles, 2 sacks, and a fumble recovery in a 20-13 win against Holdridge. So they needed every play that he made in that one in a one-score game. I mentioned Boys Town, and Darian Whitaker, senior there, is receiving high-level recruiting attention. 15 carries for 99 yards and 2 touchdowns on the ground. He had a 60-yard receiving touchdown. He had 4 tackles. He had a 12-yard interception return touchdown And he also had a 96-yard kickoff return touchdown.
Yeah.
So scoring in every phase of the game.
It's just electric. And I'll be very, very curious to see what happens again. If the schedule's worked out, that would definitely be the game that I was at this week, just to see a little more like versus like with Ashland Greenwood.
Yep, and that was a 52-7 win against Omaha Gross there for Boys Town, leading into the big one with Ashland Greenwood. And then finally, mentioned him last week as well. Good to see him kind of in a rhythm now with Papillion South Jr. Derek Jones. 30 carries, 224 yards, and 3 touchdowns, and a 47-0 win against Norfolk.
Yeah. The last 3 weeks definitely trending in the right direction because just trying to figure out that offense, and it's good to see DJ getting going.
No doubt.
Well, that music, that means that's another week in the books of NEB Preps with my man Jacob Padilla. Hey, we'll be back next week. It'll be a pretty good week because we'll a little more truth serum in terms of what is what, especially in B and C1. Can't wait. Don't you dare miss us.
A Hurrdat Sports Network production.